One thing very clearly today, this government do not like being held to account, and certainly, most of all, they do not like being held to account by Sinn Féin. What we have seen is a snobbery and condescension today that is the hallmark of a century-old cosy cartel that do not like to be challenged on their failures, especially by those who they look down on, those who broke their golden circle, which tolerated, in fact often rewarded, incompetence. But you have failed, and you will be challenged on your failures. Cancórla, confronted by their own policing failures, government are angry and they're defensive, and they've resorted to mudslinging. Rather than dealing with the issues that communities are faced with every day, they try to distract. The policing failures in our communities, crystallised by the events of the 23rd of November, cry out for accountability. The Gardaí in our communities deserve our support. They're not getting that support from this government, and from what we've heard this evening, they will not get it. Because this government and this minister are completely out of touch with how crime and antisocial behaviour have affected communities. We know the impact of these failures. We've heard of the incidents of crime on our streets, the random attacks, the workers afraid of leaving late in the evening, the no-go areas of our cities late at night, the people afraid in their own homes, the domestic violence calls unanswered, the response times that have been too slow, the victims of crimes whose lives have been changed forever, and of course the appalling failures of the 23rd of November, when innocence was shattered, when 3 children and their carer were stabbed as they left school. I want to commend the bravery of Leanne Flynn and all those who stepped in to protect those children. Cancórla, it's the job of the state to protect people, to uphold public safety. And when that doesn't happen, somebody must be held to account. When riots erupted, this minister allowed Gardaí to be sent out unprepared and under-resourced. We all saw the footage of Gardaí isolated trying to fend off attackers. They deserve better than that. That is a political failure, and that failure is on the minister. In the immediate aftermath of those failures, the minister tried to tell us that control was not lost in the city, just as for months before she had told us that Dublin city centre was safe. And no amount of mudslinging by this government will take away from the facts of their failure. There are fewer Gardaí on our streets and less Garda stations in our communities than when Fine Gael came to power 12 years ago. And coupled with that, they have fundamentally changed how our communities are actually policed. When I was growing up, everyone knew the local Gardaí, and the local Gardaí knew everyone. People felt safer. And that is no longer the case. The population has increased. Our towns have grown. And in response, Fine Gael have closed Garda stations and reduced Garda numbers, and they don't like to hear it, but Cancórla, they are the facts, and it cannot continue. We called on the minister to resign. She didn't. We cannot continue with a Justice Minister who has allowed our communities to feel increasingly unsafe, while she insists that our cities are safe, while the daily experience of everyone who lives in, who works in, visits and runs a business there says that that isn't the case. So we called on the Taoiseach to dismiss the minister, and he didn't. You may not like to be reminded of your failures, but we will keep reminding you. And you may not like to be held to account, but we will hold you accountable. And you may refuse to listen to our communities and their concerns for public safety, but we are listening, and they are telling us that they have no confidence in this government and in this Justice Minister. You might look down on us, but we will not let you look down or fail those communities that we represent. We will hold you accountable, just as the people will get their chance to hold everybody who votes in this no-confidence motion accountable when the opportunity arises. I'll be voting no confidence tonight, Cancórla.